Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guest, Ferlie Almonte. If you search vivacious energy, queen of positivity, and innovative goddess of resilience, Ferlie Almonte would probably pop up first. Ferlie is a survivor extraordinaire and one who was blessed with a multitude of talents. Her incredible inspirational story of how she literally turned her horrifying mess into her inspirational message is just beyond most people's imagination. Ferlie has had many successes in her colorful and very diverse career paths that span from upscale fashion retail sales management, specialty pharmaceutical sales, public relations, and as a licensed respiratory therapist. Mind-blowing personal catastrophes in life forced her to reinvent her career, which led her on her current passion and mission-driven career as a keynote speaker, motivational edutainer, best-selling author, resilience, confidence, image, and public speaking coach. And Ferlie is determined to create a global impact by being the voice of hope and resilience. And oh my goodness, this woman innovator has broken so many molds and barriers, and she is fast becoming the icon of resilience. Welcome, Ferlie.
Oh my gosh, what an introduction.
Well, I can tell everyone in the audience I have the distinct pleasure of, I actually know Ferlie, and I know how powerful this woman is. So you want to listen to every word, get out a pen and paper, take notes, and you're going to want to listen to this over and over again, because what Ferlie has to say really is going to be inspiring, and it's going to give you hope. So Ferlie, let me just get right into the interview and tell me, who is it that you really help?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because in my journey of being a resilience coach, I happen to have zeroed in on certain types of people that I could best serve. And I would say, those are the people who feel lost, people who feel invisible. They lack self-esteem and confidence. They're hiding in shame, and they're people who are ready for more in life, in their careers, despite the setbacks in their personal lives brought forth by divorce, loss of a loved one, death of a loved one, disability, or a life-transforming illness that they themselves experienced, or even a financial disaster. They fear being judged. They trapped by worry about the unknown, and they feel unworthy sometimes.
That's really interesting, because you use words, and I can really resonate with that. You said they feel ashamed, sometimes unworthy. So how do you use your magic to transform you?
Well, my coaching style is very holistic in nature. I work with the mind, the body, and the spirit for a more comprehensive and long-lasting results. I think of one's transformation like a symphony, and I am the orchestra director. I am the maestro. You see, what happens is that there are different dimensions and instruments that make music beautiful and complete and impactful. You know what they say? You could be dressed for success, you could be dressed for the show, but if you don't have the percussion, which is actually the heart of it all, you don't feel the beat. and without the strings and the wind instruments, you feel that the voice from deep within you is silenced. And of course, when you make it all come together, me being the orchestra director and all the instruments coming to play, the mind, body, and spirit, that's when a magical experience comes alive and the results are delivered to the client. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, because if you look at your life, like you said, like an orchestra, and I really like the metaphor of the drum beat, because if you don't have that, it's kind of like there's something missing. So in all of the things you do when you are helping people as a life coach, or even when you're helping them with their image, why do you have such a passion for this? What happened that helped you prepare yourself for this mission? It's huge.
You're going to laugh at this. There were actually a number of times when I said, my life story does not only require a book, it needs a movie trilogy.
I did laugh.
It is so colorful, and there are so many different layers to me being shaped to who I am right now. Just like the statue of David, when they say you have to keep chipping away what you're not to become this incredible statue. In my life, starting from childhood, I have gone through so many different adversities that actually began when my father abandoned me, my mother, and my siblings. And so we were raised basically by my mother and our relatives, who have pulled together their resources and their energies and generously shared their homes and resources with us. And then at age 22, I took a chance to come to America with only $120 of, how do you call that? The American Express, how do you call those things? Traveler's checks.
Oh, okay. Traveler's checks.
Look at this. I forgot all about that. But at that time, I did not even have much cash. I think I only had like $40 in cash on me. And I borrowed $120 of traveler's checks at that particular time to take a chance here in America, because I wanted to provide a better life for my mother and for my siblings. And so I stayed with friends. That's what I did. And I worked my way up into different careers. And since then, I also got married to a man. And well, we had some good moments, and we have a beautiful daughter together. That marriage became disastrous. I went through a very nasty divorce, and it was not a fairy tale come true, for a marriage. And I have learned to actually raise my child on my own, and still be able to face many of the adversities that come along with being a divorced woman and a single mother and a sole provider, not only for my family here, but also for my family in the Philippines. And then of course, I started to reinvent my life as well, because here every single Asian, I think, or every single Filipino think that the best way to go when it comes to a career is in the healthcare profession. And so instead of becoming a nurse and having to study, to be a doctor for many, many years, I've decided to go to school to be a respiratory therapist. And I became one. I became a certified respiratory therapist. And my life changes, I would say, began from that point of my life. That was the pivotal moment of my life, because I was exposed to an occupational hazard as a respiratory therapist that left me with a 40% permanent lung damage. And I was severely debilitated for many, many years. So badly disabled that I would actually just take 2 steps to walk and I would turn blue. With every small amount of trigger, whether it be cold air, a chemical, or heat, or perfume, I would react violently. My head would explode, my chest would hurt, my airways would close, and my acid reflux would act up so horribly, all at the same time. And I did not understand what was happening to me. Four doctors here in New Jersey did not know how to treat me. One thought that I knew too much. Well, when is that ever a problem, right? And one wanted me to go to an academic institution so they could study my very unique case. And one of them just wanted to give me Xanax because they probably thought I was a cuckoo. But I did not fill that prescription, of course. And thank God for somebody like his name is Dr. Carlton in Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. He's Harvard trained. He listened to me well. And it was then that I realized what kind of damage was actually done to my body. And what I was not expecting to hear was that he told me that it affected the vagus nerve, which is a major nerve in the body, and that unfortunately is non-responsive to any medication or inhaler once triggered. And so I was told I could die at any time. What do you do at moments like that? I ended up, of course, learning very, very quickly to live my life as though each day was my last. I became ferlilicious. I've learned to live my life heart-centered, soul-inspired, and purpose-driven. And I bargained with God and I said, I know I'm in this world to be of service to others. Please show me how. And by some beautiful circumstances, I ended up winning in a raffle life coaching sessions that allowed me to awaken to what my purpose is in life, what my passions are, what I am incredibly great at. And so as a result of that, I actually studied to become a certified image consultant. And working as an image consultant, I found that it was so effortless for me to be able to make somebody look pretty and attractive and put together and looking confident. But when I look into their eyes, I see emptiness. And so I realized that there is something that I need to fix first, or at least help them resolve first their internal issues, limiting beliefs, their fears, their sufferings needed to be resolved first so that they can sparkle outside as well. And so that was, one of the many reinventions I've had in life. Well, I was, going back to the time that I was gravely ill, I prayed like I've never prayed before. I said I just wanted to have some purpose in life. And I did have that purpose. And not only did I find a solution to my medical problem, which gave, I am a lot better now. Not perfect, but deeply grateful to be healthy and alive, right? By the way, during the time that I was gravely ill and going through catastrophes in life, I was never resentful. I always lived my life with gratitude. So in me living that kind of ferocious life, I found my second chance at life, a miracle, and another chance to be happy again. I found love. Incredible. It was a beautiful, magical experience for me. But that was short-lived. Tragically, I lost my spouse to pancreatic cancer within 3 months of diagnosis and within 8 short months of our wedding day. During the time my spouse was dying, I got laid off from my pharmaceutical sales position. I got flat broke, went through financial disaster, and lost my home. And many times going forward, I still go through many challenges in life. But I realize that those kinds of experiences prepared me and helped me understand how to help other people better. During that time that I was gravely ill and suffering through back to back tragedies in life, I made the decision. I said to myself, I will not be defined by my adversities. I will make my mess my message. And I will empower other people who are in places of darkness in their lives, feeling lost, lacking clarity, lacking the confidence to step into their light. And I'm going to hold them by the hand and walk them to find their light and help them sparkle in their own magnificence. And as a result of that decision, I've started to write books that empower people with the information, with inspiration, and with some tips on how they could actually live the life that they want, that is resilient and confident, so they can live magnificent lives. I also have made the decision that I have to be the voice of hope and resilience for so many people all over the world. And I said that I am a global resilience leader. And I have stepped into it with such conviction and passion and prayed for guidance from up above, for divine guidance, for all the angels and saints to come to conspire to help me make this happen. And truly, I believe you, Tammy, you are one of the most incredible, beautiful angels that have been sent to me to provide me the platform to help those people I was born to serve. Wow, that was a long story, wasn't it? I told
It was actually a beautiful story, and I know there's much more to it, but I think the listeners needed to hear about that story, because sometimes people, you don't know what they've gone through, so it really provides a solid foundation for people to know that you have it in your heart, and that when you talk to people, give them tips, give them advice, you're coming from a place of, I've been there before and I can help you, and you can really provide like a solid foundation, because you are a living inspiration of someone who's had think about it, to be told that pretty much you have an incurable disease, and that you have damage of a vagus nerve, and I'm not even sure what that is, but it's
not us.
obviously very important that you turned blue when you took 2 steps. And I think it's important that you have, you had the death of a spouse is a big tragedy. Traveling from the Philippines to the United States, because you knew that you could create a better life for not only you, but for other people, because I think that's really important. It's about not only us, but what we can do to lift up other people in the world. And even your message is so powerful. So you started to talk about, we know that you are a speaker and a coach and a best-selling author and an edutainer, which you have a beautiful singing voice. So tell me a little bit more about some of your services and your inspirational programs. Maybe choose one. You were talking about turning your mess into your message. So do you go and speak to groups, corporations? Do you work with people one-on-one? How do people work with you and get your different services? I know you're also a very popular master of ceremonies, because, and I know you've done a lot of that. and you're very much sought after in the Master of Ceremonies. And I've seen, what is it, like the United Nations and United Way or UNICEF or
No, actually, it's
something.
American Cancer Society.
Yeah. So
No,
tell me a little bit more about the different things that you could do to help.
yeah. First of all, thank you for acknowledging that. It's wonderful to know that you're also watching my career.
Yes, I am.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to address that I light up, and I feel like I come alive when I am on stage, because when I am on stage, which feels like home to me, I know that I can reach so many people than having one-on-one conversation. Also, of course, being on social media is a great platform as well, because, again, it's not just being physically in one place, but I'm able to reach people internationally as well, right? Now, just to address the master of ceremonies, for instance, even if I am a master of ceremony, I always find a way to incorporate a little motivational message when I do that, because it's being true to my brand, that I am a motivational edutainer. While I edify people, while I set the tone of vivacious energy, vibrant energy into a space, I also make sure that a positive and inspiring message gets shared with the people in the audience. The one of the events that I am so proud to have emceed at was the American Cancer Society, the Diamond Ball right here in the Northeast region. That was very, very meaningful for me, because not only did I lose a spouse to pancreatic cancer, I failed to mention earlier, I also lost my mother to ovarian cancer within 3 months of diagnosis, and my father to lung cancer 6 months after that. And I've lost many relatives and friends as well to cancer. So it's very important to me to give something back that was somehow cancer related or adversity related. So that opened a lot of doors for me to be able to speak as a motivational keynote speaker or a motivational edutainer to many organizations that help people who are going through adversities in life, whether it be cancer or life transforming events, such as being divorced or being disabled or being unemployed. Any particular group of people that requires inspiration or motivation for life reinvention is where I feel I'm being magnetized to, because these are people who may want changes in their lives, but they do have no idea where to begin. Sometimes it's it's so beautiful to know that they're not alone. That there are people like me who may look well put together, but have walked the walk and talked the talk of going through a tsunami of adversities in life. They are not alone. And if somebody like me who have gone through a nasty divorce, multiple deaths of loved ones, having gone through disability, having lost a string of jobs, and having been bankrupt and having lost homes, you know, there's no judgment in that. It was easier for me to hide in shame. For most people, it's a choice to just hide in shame because they're so afraid of being judged. But by me being able to speak to corporations, because remember, corporations are still made out of people who struggle with work life balance because they may be going through adversities in their lives, but they don't want their jobs to be affected. And I teach how to be resilient. There are also some people who miss out on their higher calling in life or bigger opportunities for career growth because they don't have the confidence, because their self-esteem is suppressed. And so I teach them to be confident, not only with the way they look through their image, but how they are able to communicate their value through public speaking, so that they will be able to not only, communicate verbally and non-verbally positively through their image and make it compelling and make themselves indelible and valuable, and also even through my the books I write, obviously, it's a way also that I am able to share the different messages that I have. I do different things. I do workshops for corporations on image, on confidence, on public speaking. For organizations, I I basically do motivational talks. I also do workshops even for small organizations on resilience, on life reinvention, on image, even for entertainers. Entertainers out there sometimes they can sing very well, but they cannot connect with the audience because they are not able to speak in between singing. And so that is part again of public speaking, which a lot of entertainers do not know. And so, and as I've said, and there are some people who are retired already and have no idea what the heck to do with their lives, because they have been identified with their jobs. There are also some people who have been widowed or have been divorced. Now because they've been traded in, for instance, for a younger model, they start to dress young, right? But they don't realize that if they actually present themselves in a more sophisticated way, in a more alluring way, without looking like they're trying too hard to be young, they're actually a lot sexier and more attractive. And that comes by knowing your body shape, by you knowing your power colors. By the way, you're wearing your power colors today so very nicely. I love that because colors exude different kinds of energy, and having that kind of understanding. I guess I'm sharing all of this with you because my style is very holistic. So I first, on life coaching, I work on the mindset and getting them out of their limiting beliefs, all their fears, breaking through their fears, knowing their self-worth, igniting the confidence in them, and then bringing back hope into their lives. And then the body part is image, okay? The way you appear, the way you behave, the way you communicate your value, verbal or non-verbal, are also very important. And then of course there is the spirit. There's the spiritual part of it that needs to also change, because nowadays, I don't know if you notice, but soft skills, our ability to connect people on a soul level, on a little bit more spiritual level, creates a better connection and understanding. The energy, everybody's talking about energy because around us is energy. I remember Oprah had shared during her last show something that was shared by an author about being mindful of the energy that you bring into your space, because you want to live, you have to first come with an energy that people would want to be around. Do you know how it is? Like sometimes people come into a space and you feel like darkness just came over you because they feel so heavy, and you don't want to be around those type of people. And so when you have the right energy and you surround yourself with people with like energy, that actually lifts you up and elevates you to the best that you can be, magic happens. So you can very well see my my style of coaching is very holistic. I work with the mind, the body, and the spirit, because that is when a magical transformation truly happens, and it has a long lasting result.
Because there's a true transformation when you
Ex-
work with the mind, the body, and the spirit, because that's a whole you. That's, you're just, every story you tell is very, very fascinating. So tell me, I want to ask you some questions about why do people fail to work with you, in terms of, I mean, I'm sitting here and going, why wouldn't you want to change? Why wouldn't you want to work on your image? Why wouldn't you want to work on your mindset? What have you found are the biggest obstacles for people to work with you, or their misconceptions about what you offer?
Well, first of all, I always interview a prospective client because I need to understand that we are the right fit. Because if I am not the right coach for them, I always refer them to somebody who can help them. Because the best interest of the client is always first and foremost. So many clients or prospective clients are not ready and they're not willing. The people who succeed in their transformations are the people who are ready and willing to do what it takes to achieve the dreams and the goals that they want, that they so desire. You know, success requires decision and massive inspired implementation. So many people would not even do the work because it's not like a magic pill that you take a pill and your life will be transformed. It does not work that way. So many people, may want change, but they say like, oh, I cannot afford it. But when you say, okay, what can you not afford? But you can afford losing opportunities on finding the right mate. Can you afford that? Can you afford the opportunity to advance in your career? You have to change the way your mindset goes, because I always say to them, as a matter of fact, how much longer do you want to marinate in your misery? What is that costing you? Can you afford to continue staying in that miserable place of your life? You have to think very, very differently. It's all perspective. A lot of these clients who want change, they do not have the clarity of what it is that they want. You ask them, what will make you happy? It seemed like the hardest question you ever asked. It's like, what could make you happy? Like, there's always dead silence because they want change, but they have no freaking idea what they want really. And so, unless you have that clarity, it's hard to find that direction. It's almost like, okay, I have a GPS. It knows I am the GPS. But unless you plug me in on where you want to go, we can't go anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because if you don't know your big why and what it is that you're trying to get to, what road do you take? I mean, and like I think the GPS is the perfect example of that because with your GPS, you put in where you're starting from, and then you put in where you want to go, and then it calculates it. And then as you go, if you accidentally make a wrong turn, it recalculates it to get you back on track. And
Exactly.
that's like
Yeah,
what
it's
you do for people. It helps you
exactly.
to make that roadmap.
You hit the nail right on its head. You know, okay, I work best with people who are in one place in their life that they're not happy with, whether it be in their life, career, or relationships. And I help them get to where they want to be in life. And I help them get there faster with less mistakes because I am their advocate. I am their other set of eyes to see where their blind sides are. I help them see what they are overlooking. A lot of my clients, when they work with me, when I unleash their bling, bling, by the way, that's my signature program, Unleash Your Bling or Bring It and Bling It. Bling stands for boldly living in natural greatness. A lot of them would tell me, after I interviewed them, and I found so many incredibly beautiful talents deeply embedded in them. And then they would say like, oh, I never thought of that. Oh, I never saw it that way. I never saw myself that way. Sometimes when I create all of these bios and introduction for people, they look at me like, that's me. Like, because I see them in a very different way. I love to share this example with you. I once helped a gay woman who was single looking for love, right? And so she was on match.com and I saw her picture and her profile, and I said, okay, no wonder you're attracting losers and gold diggers. Okay, because what she has out there was not serving her. She doesn't look, attractive in that picture that she put out there. And so basically I gave her a whole makeover for that. And then I helped her rewrite her profile to the point that she said, like, this is me. Yes, but she never saw the beauty in her. She undervalued herself, you know? And so me being able to pull it out of her and being able to put it out there for the world to see, she was able to actually find a partner, a nurse, and she got a nice management job as a result of that. And so she's a lot happier and a lot more confident about herself. My other client, actually, she found me on Facebook, believe it or not. So online presence is very, very important as well as offline. 50 years old, Spanish woman. She feels invisible. She blamed herself for everything that ever happened in her life. The failure of her relationship with her daughter, her miserable job, her being single, her being divorced. She says, I'm 50 years old. I need to do something for me. I don't know how to begin. So she hired me. And so with me working with her, going holistic, mind, body, and spirit, what was so amazing was that in just 3 short months, she ended up finding a man that was so wonderful. And not only after 6 months after, she was engaged and then married. And she also found a job that she loves. And then her relationship with her daughter has never been better because the things that bothered her before that were so trivial that it did not really matter in the long run. So she said that she had put in little post-it all over the place, her refrigerator, her desk, everywhere, being reminded of what we talked about. And that was all how her life began. So many other beautiful stories of transformations that I can share with you. But when somebody is ready and willing to do what it takes and they know exactly what they want from life, I am just honored and deeply grateful to be that person, to partner with them, to be able to step into the magnificent, happy, serene life, drama-free life that they deserve. Because a lot of them, like they don't want drama. Obviously, we all don't want drama, negativity, and in our lives. And so I help them attract that type of life for themselves so they can begin to start living and stop existing. So, I like that. I said, basically, I make them switch from simply existing to living fully.
I think I like that too, because the one thing that most people fear in their life is that their lives didn't matter. And so when you stop existing and you start to live fully, then you go into this whole, what I guess some people call the flow or whatever, where things just go along and life is really good. So Ferlie, if we want to work with you, where do we find more information about you and your services?
Well, you can visit me on my website at www.resilientlifewithferlie. Ferlie is spelled FERLIE.com. And if you would like to book an interview with me so we can determine whether we're the right fit, I actually offer a 20-minute discovery session, and you can book that at www.speakwithferlie.com. That way, even with that 20 minutes, whether we end up working together or not, you'll be able to ignite something in you. I know that for sure because it is my mission in life to make a difference in your world. And for whatever way I can do that, I am deeply grateful for the privilege of being able to touch your life, even in a tiny way.
Well, I know, Ferlie, that I am the fortunate one because I got to be touched by you. So I really want to thank you for that. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, and thank you so very much for having me, because when you invited us to be part of this Women Innovator book, it's like, oh my God. First of all, you have to be iconic to be able to be included in a book like this, because obviously these women are trailblazers. So we are deeply grateful for somebody like you who give us the opportunity to share our gift to make a global impact. So thank you so very much for your beautiful heart and your wonderful spirit. And I know this is going to be a lasting friendship that I will always cherish in my life.
Well, now I'm blushing. Everybody, go make it a beautiful day. This is Tammy Patzer.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.